In 1992, Nickelodeon decided to go a bit of a different route. While channels like ABC and NBC were playing Golden Day sitcoms like I Love Lucy, Nick watched a market fly over the radar. Previously playing shows from their Nick at Night programming, they decided it was time for a bit of a change. Thus, the first teen channel was born, Snick. Starting on August 15th, 1992, Nick would broadcast their teen geared shows for 2 hours every Saturday night, starting at 8 p.m. and ending at 10. Showings at the time consisted of their most popular teen shows, including Clarissa Explains It All, Ren and Stimpy, Are You Afraid of the Dark, and they'd also unveil a new show that night titled Roundhouse. 2 years later, Nick would change it up again, this time taking out the old and adding in some new spice to the mix. In 1994, three new shows premiered, the first being The Adventures of Pete and Pete, and the other two being The Secret World of Alex Mack and All That, both of which replaced Clarissa and Roundhouse, since those shows had reached their end at this point. Various other shows aired on the block during the last 3 years of its existence, including gems such as The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo, Kablam, and Rugrats. Snick would go on to run until its demise in the late year 2000, but rebranding into another teen program that ran a lot like Teen Nick, which would debut 3 months later in January of 2001. Though various comebacks throughout the years, nothing would ever be as popular as the almost 10-year running in the 90s. While our Snick timeline does pretty much stop there, I do highly encourage you to read more into it. It's a really interesting topic to delve into with lots of different lost media attached. However, today we are actually talking about one piece of lost media in particular. When giving a timeline, there is something I didn't mention. Along with the program's airing, they also aired a new bumper program titled Snick Snacks. These consisted of 1 to 5 minute shorts, and a lot of people tend to remember them for short films for short people, The Girl with Her Head Cut Off, or Cooking with Hanson. Amongst the various different Snick Snacks, though, one was brought to my attention over the week, and I had never heard of it before, so I'm going to take y'all down a rabbit hole with me.
A viewing treat.
Here we go.
What you're about to see is made with help from kids online. Look for this symbol. It tells you what's on screen is real email from one of you.
When you take a girl and you put her in a car with her parents and they're driving really far, you get Natalie's Backseat Traveling Webshow. Whoa, whoa. That's what you get.
Natalie's Backseat Traveling Web Show. With a name like that in an airing year of 1996, I was instantly intrigued, so I just wanted to give y'all some information about it. Just quick shout out and thank you to the Lost Media Wiki, as well as Kind Moose 2274 and various other Redditors for posting about the topic and giving me a basis to research. Nickelodeon tends to have my favorite pieces of lost media. With the Oswald commercial still missing and the 2025 discovery of the Backyardigans original pilot, there is a ton of lost media out there for pretty much any type of person. With that being said, I often search the lost media Reddit for hours just looking for something that piques my interest, and nothing has quite hit like Natalie's Backseat Traveling Web Show. We've all heard of iCarly, and I was under the impression that that was the first and only web show that Nick had ever aired, and I was completely wrong, and I am so happy I was wrong. Let me set a scene. You're Natalie. You're 12 years old, and your parents are like, hey, kid, we're moving across the country, New York to LA. Shocking, right? Well, a lot of kids do find themselves in the midst of their parents' midlife crisis, just like Natalie. How would you deal with this? By creating a web show, of course. Never mind the fact that it's like 1996 and car internet was not established until like 2008. We'll just assume they stopped at an internet cafe. Back to real life here. Natalie's Backseat Traveling Web Show was a 3-minute short airing during Snick. They are rumored to be about 10 episodes, but there could have been more. Each one revolved around Natalie meeting strangers, answering emails, and going from state to state with her parents. In 1995, Nick had been dabbling in internet connections for only about a year at that point, creating their first website URL using AOL with the keyword Nick. While remnants of the AOL URL can still be seen today, it wasn't until 1996 with the creation of their new Snick Snack, would they get their own direct URL, nick.com/nat. The site consisted of quite a lot of things, especially for its time. The most important part, at least to me, was the Drive I Said and the Drive On section. These sections showed a short written diary, and then after reading the diary, you could click Drive On, which would take you to the episode itself. From there were two different game sections that were updated throughout the week. The first game was titled You Know What? And it would give you a trivia question about the state where Natalie was. There were 3 multiple choice questions, and it would tell you if you got it right or wrong. And then from there, sometimes the correct answer would bring up a surprise message. The second game had you unscrambling the name of different cities that Natalie had visited. It was called Igaruf Tatu, which in itself was a unscrambling game. From there, you could unscramble the name by dragging the letters down to the correct place. Like the previous game, solving the puzzle would sometimes give you a surprise message. There was a Listen Here section, which would download a sound file, and it would consist of part of the theme song. It wasn't the direct part that was on the show, however. There was a license plate shaped button that would take you to a web page called Check the Map. It would show a map that takes the route that Natalie's trip had taken so far. You could hover over dots on the map and it would tell you the name of the specific city and state at which her parents stopped, how far you'd gone at that point, plus some trivia about the state that location is in. The map is also the way that you access her old pages. You'd simply click on each dot and you'll automatically pull up the Drive I Said and Drive On pages that correspond to that day of the trip. There was also a messaging function where you could chat back and forth on the page. You'd click the bumper sticker showing you go here to get there. As of today, the only piece that is left of that web page is an image shown at the top, and I'll show it on screen as well. The last few hyperlinks were titled Where Are We? Unexplained Phenomenon, Can You Guess What This Is? And What Does This Look Like to You? These would bring up various comment sections where you could enter a response. You'd attach your first name, city, and state, and then Nick would look through them and post the ones in the U Drive area on Fridays. The only archived hyperlink from this set is the Where Are We section, and I'm currently showing it. The website really did change daily, which is one of the coolest parts about it. It also changed to include comic strips from Gus being her best friend from back home. 2 of these can be seen today, and again, I'll show them on screen. As of right now, the pieces that I've shown you are really the only information that we have on the website and what it looked like back in 1997. It is shown to have changed drastically to not include the show at all by the next year in 1998. So we've talked about the website a lot. Let's pivot a little to talk about the show and the search so far. The show itself, like I briefly mentioned, is about 12-year-old Natalie and her parents' decision to uproot their lives and move across the country, from New York to California specifically. During this time, Natalie thinks that she'll be extremely bored, so she decides to start a web show known as nick.com/nat. And then she's on her way, meeting new people and exploring new things. Every week, the site updates and details of her experience in a vlog-type format in the series. At the end, she would read posts and comments, and then names and cities and states would flash on the screen from viewers who wrote in. As of right now, we have 2 episodes. One being the pilot, which is where a lot of this information is coming from. It doesn't showcase much, it's just a rundown of the show, and it tells us a little bit about the characters and their motives. While Gus and Natalie try to move their mom's toothbrush from the bathroom to the car in a comedic fashion. The other episode states that it's day 43 of their 3-month trip, where they stopped at a gas station in Boulder, Colorado. Natalie says that she got an email while at the gas station and asked about shooting milk from her eyes when she sneezes. So Natalie attempts to do this but cannot make herself sneeze. While doing so, she meets a lady with quite a lot of piercings and calls her Shrapnel Face. She questions Natalie until her parents come out and tell her to come home. Then a question comes up on screen from an Aaron in Sarasota, Florida, asking how many holes did she count on Shrapnel's face, to which Natalie responded with at least 8. The Nick announcer then asks, how many holes did you count? And tells viewers to head online to answer and says you might get your name on the list, and it shows names with cities and states in the background.
How many holes are on Shrapnel's face? Log on to Nick.com and count them anytime this week, and you just might get your name on the Natalie Scroll of Fame. Right now, you're seeing only some of last week's winners. We're squishing as hard as we...
As you can tell, this was a bit of a different time. Whatever happened to stranger danger and internet safety is my wonder, but they do urge you to only use your first name, so I guess it's fine. When I began looking for this, I had never heard of it, but the thing that really caught my attention is the fact that the actors have been lost to time. We have no clue who Natalie is, or Gus, or any of the characters. For a well-known channel, this is pretty unheard of, especially considering Nickelodeon was vastly popular in the 90s. Really, it wasn't all that long ago in the grand scheme of things, and with the time put into the website itself, you'd think that the actors would have been listed somewhere. The only known information is from Parker Riley. His bio says that he launched Nick's first online presence, being that AOL. He co-created Natalie's Backseat traveling web show, and mentioned it being the first TV internet web show. He found a teenage writer for the show from his Bark days, produced 85 online episodes, 7 of which aired on Nick, who wrote and performed the web show. It then tells us that the snippet of the theme song on the site is from the longer version of the show. Along with all of this, in 1992, he tells us that Bark was a nationwide network of influential teens who were given unreleased music to play for their friends and at house parties. This allowed the music to get around quicker. Finding this shows us that there are up to 85 different episodes that could be missing to this day. However, it also tells us that only 7 aired on Nick, most likely. Since the website is shown to have been taken down and changed in 1998, it's possible that not all 85 were actually put on the website. There have been a few theories on who Natalie is, but no one has come forward, and the theories all kind of seem off. Someone did mention about 8 years ago in a YouTube comment that the girl who played Natalie was their math teacher, and that, while is kind of believable, it really has no backbone, and the person never responded to any questions. While doing my own research, I came across a promo that hadn't been mentioned anywhere. It shows a few seconds of episodes that we hadn't seen before, including a biker gang that Natalie took a picture with. It's unclear if this is a direct episode, but I do assume it was due to the multiple scenes with said biker gang.
For way too long. The world can get pretty boring, but thanks to your emails and my strange encounters, things have been pretty interesting. Check it out.
Natalie's Backseat Traveling Web Show, back on TV and online. A new adventure every Snick Snack in February. A new interactive game every week on Nick.com. So tune in and log on, only on Nickelodeon.
There is one other promo that I uncovered where she is only seen twice. The first time is a scene that has not been seen before, and I believe it may be from the Alex Greaser archive page, but I'll let y'all tell me what you think about that. Right now, we are at the end of our journey with Natalie. I hope to have some updates in the future as the community continues to search for more episodes. The best way to get in on this search would be to look into old VHS recordings from February of 1997. That's where I've had most of my luck. Good luck out there and keep searching.